Hey guys, welcome to a game between the Mista playing as the English versus Marinelord playing as the French. This game was recently played in the Winter Series tournament, which was last night for me. I'm not sure when it was for you guys, but saw this game and just like the level at what the Mista plays the English is seriously impressive. Like it was just so methodical and perfectly executed. I had to kind of take a look at this and give you any of my insights into like how he played this so perfectly. I know English is definitely a popular civ, especially at the lower ranks, and I feel like there's a lot of mistakes that people do make when they are going for the early longbow pressure with the civ. So I wanted to kind of take a look mostly at the Mister's point of view and kind of talk through some of the decisions he makes and how he executes this so perfectly. So he's not opting to go for a second scout here. He's just going to stay on the one. This is going to accelerate his age up. And he's not going to be skipping out on a Ville in the early stages of the game. So he's actually going 8 on food, and then I'd imagine 3 are going to be sent to gold here. This is a longbow pike rush, so let's just see how he executes this, because even at like my level, I come up against quite a few English players and usually don't have too many issues with holding this pressure, especially as the deli. So I wanted to kind of take a look at this game and maybe even try out English myself based on what we kind of see in this game, because he just made English look so good. I think the main objective with the longbow pike rush is to keep your opponent inside their own base and constantly harassing the eco, so constantly killing Villes, making them move around everywhere in their base, and holding down the map control completely. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit in the early stages of the game. So he's gone 3 on gold after he had 8 on food, and then he's added an extra Ville to food here. So his objective is obviously to get up as soon as possible. We'll see how many Villes he actually puts on the landmark here. Going with the 3 gold Villes, because the gold is not necessary for anything as soon as he hits up to age 2. Later on it's going to be nice for blacksmith and ecotechs as well. But I think in this situation he's not opting to go for a super greedy build, rather he's going to get in his opponent's face earlier. So he has 7 on wood, 5 on food. Definitely macroing for potentially a barracks as well to drop down straight away. And also longbows are heavy on the wood as well, so it makes sense for him to have more Villes on wood at this stage. One thing that I've seen become more popular with the English is moving forward to build towers on your opponent's side. Actually dropping a mill here, so maybe he'll be going for an early wheelbarrow or something. Still has a fair few sheep. Maybe he's looking to get up his farming eco earlier rather than later. One thing to keep in mind, English do get a bonus when the mill is, or the farm is placed around the mill. It basically is the equivalent of gathering sheep for him. And the mills are also, the farms are also cheaper, only costing 37 wood compared to the, I believe it's 70? 70? I don't know why I can't remember this right now. But it's a lot cheaper. So a nice bonus for the English. So he has open Iraqs as well. Looks like he's prioritizing the production of pikes because he has seen the early night come out for Marinelord. So Marinelord actually adding in archers of his own at the back here. Obviously knowing he's going to have to deal with some pikes here as well. So he needs archers to clear that for his knights. And one thing that the Mista is doing well here is he's not pushing out too far, right? Like he's waiting for till he has enough mass of pikes to deal with these knights, because he saw the first knight. He doesn't know how many knights at this stage Marinelord has. He's just spotted a few more knights there, so he's aware that if he pushes out too early, he could easily get his army cleaned up. So he's opting to go for a tower further back. So this is a safer tower. They actually can't see in this stealth forest until this guy started shooting. And here comes our first engagement. He has enough pikes to deal with these knights, and the archer mass is pretty similar, but considering the longbows are stronger, it looks like the Mista will quite convincingly win this fight. And he has this tower up, which is giving him the bonus of the network of castles, and also line of sight as well. A really nice start from the Mista here. And one thing is, if you take a fight too early against English and it doesn't go in your favor, it's when it starts to get really scary with the snowball of the longbows and the pike mass. Honestly, like a mass of longbows is one of the scariest masses in the feudal age, just because of their strength, especially in numbers. They can kill basically anything. So back at home, still on the same production buildings, and now just getting started with his farm eco. So he has collected a little bit of berries, which is not ideal, but in this situation, he's definitely prioritizing units rather than the farm eco early on. He knows the early stages of the game, or in Age 2, is when you're most vulnerable to being cleaned up. That's at least my opinion, and from my experience, that's when I've been able to beat the English, is when I get a really good fight early on in the game, and they struggle to remass the numbers required to kind of do any significant damage. So he's prioritized the military for the early stages, sacrificing a little bit of efficiency with the food gathering to make sure he has the army to deal with them. So slowly expanding his tower network around here, which is really nice. He's gonna have line of sight of the whole base of Marinelord. So I think one of the things that obviously against being the French you need to be cautious of is these pesky night raids. So now that the Mista is actually able to get towers all around his opponent's side of the map, he's going to be able to see any knights exiting the base, and he can be ready for anything that comes his way. He also has 2 pikes at home with a scout as well for line of sight. I'm not sure if the scout's intentionally left at home. Maybe just for the line of sight. Nonetheless, continue to expand out with his network of castles from his outposts. He is looking a little bit low on pikes right now. This is mainly due to having pikes at home to deal with raids. I think he should be able to hold this. Taking down all the archers as well. Nice micro here from him. If you are up against, say, French or anyone going cav and archers, you really want to be focusing down the archers first with your longbows so that they can't kill your pikes, and the pikes can then deal with the cav a little bit better. So his Vil, did his Vil die or did he pull it back? Looks like it may have died here. I wasn't paying enough attention there. So we're still on the same 2 military production buildings. I mean, his resources are kept low at all times, so it's not necessary at this stage to drop down another barracks or anything like that. But he just needs to be careful of not having the pike mass to deal with the potential knights. So he's opting to come back towards this tower because he gets the bonus of the network of castles and he can harass the gold mine. Whereas if he was over here right now with not having a significant mass advantage, he could be in trouble not having that bonus of the network of castles in the fight. But it looks like his army might get cleaned up. He does have a few pikes just chilling back here, so not sure why these aren't in the fight at the moment. But nonetheless, repelling the army quite well here. And now this is when it gets kind of scary. Like, you can see his army is quite significantly bigger than Marinelord's. If we take a look at the military or total population, 50, but only 8 of them is military for Marinelord, and the Mista has 19 military pop. Obviously knights are a bit expensive, so they do count for more than, for example, the pikes that the Mista is making. But nonetheless, he still has a lot more value in his army than what Marinelord does at this stage. Really nice job of continually spreading out his towers here so he gets more line of sight, forcing Marinelord to expand to different areas of the map eventually to try and safely gather resources. Marinelord dropping his own tower in response so he can have some sort of safety on this gold mine. But Longbow's picking off a few vills there, which is nice for the Mista. One thing to keep in mind against the French, they do produce vills faster from their TC. That's just one of their Civ bonuses. So picking off vills here is really necessary to kind of keep the eco in basically an even level. Marinelord is still 6 villages ahead at this stage of the game, but the Mista just has like a better army and also more map control. He's also kind of has nice line of sight around his base. I'd imagine he's going to continue to try and expand that and get some towers over here as well. This is villager. Where are you? Not sure where that villager went. Man, it's really tough at this stage. Like, knights almost feel useless when you start getting a mass of pikes this big. Especially now that they automatically brace and also they have more damage against the cavalry. I feel like, obviously Marinelord's a really good player and a lot better than I am for sure, but I feel like he kind of has to just mass more archers than knights at this stage. Just because, like, look at the pike mass coming out from the Mista. He must have double barracks by now. Nope, I guess he just hasn't been losing many of his pikes at this stage of the game. Fast forward a little bit here, because it seems like it's just going to be the same thing. He's just constantly pressuring the eco, picking off vills here and there, getting more towers around the base continuously. Now actually building rams as well. So not opting to go for the safe castle age here, rather he's going to continue the pressure, continue to box Marinelord in his little corner. And once these professional scouts run out, it's going to be pretty tough for Marinelord. Going for more little raids, but the Mista is on top of it. He has pikes at home to defend his eco. So now he's just going around with the ram, destroying the towers on the gold mine so that Marinelord can't safely gather gold. As you can see, Marinelord has like vills all over the map just to try and gather resources because he knows he's not safe at home due to the longbows. It's a pretty nice play from Marinelord, but obviously there is quite a risk being taken here by having your vills spread out so far on the map. But once the Mista starts getting more towers around the base, he's going to be aware of this. Alright, so big fight here. Just too many pikes at the moment. Longbow's focusing down the archers of Marinelord. And pikes just sitting back and waiting for the knights to engage. So, by the Mista having the pikes behind the longbows, it's basically forcing the archers to overstep. And basically allowing his longbows to get not only shots as they're coming in, but more shots as they're running out, as Marinelord tries to hit the archers here. And I think this is something that a lot of English players make the mistake of, is they focus more on the longbow mass than the pike mass. Especially up against like knight civs like the French, having a big pike mass is hugely important to protect your longbows. Your longbows could be in smaller mass than the opponent's archers, which I think is the current case right now. Yeah, so okay, a roughly even mass in archers, but considering that he has the network of castles and also our longbows are just stronger by default, he's able to fight in those smaller numbers and he can take better small engagements and trades. I'm now actually mining stone to get the upgrades for his towers. So now this is going to make it pretty much impossible for Marinelord to gather any of these resources inside of this tower range unless he builds rams himself. So now he's trying to get a tower down here so he doesn't come up against the same problem on this last safe gold mine here. I say safe, but it's still pretty exposed from the town center here. The Mista getting even more aggressive with these towers, completely denying this whole wood line, both of these wood lines here. And this is pretty rough for Marinelord at this stage of the game. Dropping down more towers to try and defend this position and actually getting arrow slits himself. But one thing to keep in mind is the Mista has rams. So he could take these down, and that's a wasted stone and gold as well. Marinelord desperately trying to heal up these towers to keep these resources, but he's losing a lot of villagers. Notice how he's not going all in on the rams here. This is another big thing. Whenever you do a ram push, especially now, like that the rams have been nerfed and things like that, you don't have to use the rams to win straight away. Just use them like the Mista is, to deny any towers or any specific buildings that is protecting his eco, or could even do military production buildings or houses or anything like that. Basically, just keep a huge amount of pressure on Marinelord without taking huge risks and trying to dive his town center with rams and units. So he's not taking any risks, standing just in front of his outposts that actually have arrow slits. So if Marinelord decide to engage in any of these fights, he's going to have to fight under the extra damage being put out by this outpost. So now, opting to age up, he feels very safe with his mass compared to Marinelord at this stage. So now he can not only age up, but he's going to age up with an extra town center. So this is when his eco can really start taking off and getting ahead of Marinelord here. So if we look at the vill count, it's at 64, 63, so pretty even. Marinelord has lost a lot of vills in this game. But due to the efficient production time of villagers from the French, he's managed to like keep around the same eco. At the same time, you got to consider he's been running around a hell of a lot with his vills. Not only that, is he doesn't have a farming eco set up like the Mista does. Like, look at this. He has like 4 mills pretty much all covered by farms at this stage of the game. So he's a lot more set up, and Marinelord isn't even close to aging as far as I can tell. Current resources 50 food, and he's only got 2 farms. He is gathering some berries here, but obviously that's a slow source of food. He feels the need to push in at this stage because he's not aging up anytime soon. So he's got to try and fight before the English gets their techs in for the units here. And Mista doing the right thing and just backing off, waiting until he gets the tech advantage here so he can decisively take this fight. Check out the massive pikes. These knights are not going to do anything. Like 48 pikes. 47 archers, 15 knights, 29 archers, 44 pikes. And I believe the longbow tech shall be coming in soon. Oh, he's not getting it yet. Maybe he's just going... Oh, he's gone for the spearman? He's opted to go for the spearman tech first. I guess that makes sense. He has more spearmen in this situation. I'd imagine he might be adding in knights or something at this stage. So he's upgraded the pikes. He's bleeding out a lot of units here though. It seems like he's not worrying too much about the archer mass at this stage. Like, he's not engaging the knights and then running away with his archers. This is it. So men-at-arms and pikemen will crush this army, especially if he gets the chat armor. Yep, the chat armor is coming in, which gives a bonus 2 armor on ranged and melee. So now the men-at-arms are going to get on top of these archers, and if the knights try and stop the men-at-arms, then the pikes can just do serious damage here. So he's pulling back once again, waiting for his tech advantage. And Marinelord is just trying to make something happen here. Look at this. 5 ranged armor, and this guy has 6 attack. So they're doing 1 damage per shot. Pretty nuts. These men-at-arms are going to do work. I didn't pull back with some of them, but not all of them. Okay. Now he's pulling back. I'd imagine as soon as he gets armor clad, he's just going to go for the kill. I mean, the archer is already doing 1 damage, right? Yeah. 6 range armor. So this is gonna mainly be helping with the knights. The knights are really not going to be doing that much damage to the men-at-arms. The men-at-arms aren't going to be doing that much damage to the knights either. But once they get them in, they're going to trade really effective against the age 2 units, and it's just going to be like an insane meat shield. So he's actually upgraded to have these stone towers in here so that it takes forever for a Marinelord to actually siege these down. This is actually really clever. So when the fight was happening, he wants to keep his position up in his base. He doesn't want to lose this aggro position. So he's actually upgraded them to stone towers. The Marinelord getting up now as well. Be interested to see what he decides to add here, but I don't know if he's going to live much longer in this fight. And meanwhile, he's on 2 TC booming on the back of this. He's got his eco up, 2 double tier 2 upgrades here, and the tier 1 of the wood chopping. Now actually making mangonel as well. This should put the nail in the coffin, I believe, unless Marinelord is able to kind of quickly get out some springolds. I just don't see these knights getting on top of this mangonel without like the pikes doing serious damage, although it is a little bit out of position here. Let's see, does he see it? He would see it now. Okay. And these men at arms are so strong, like I don't know what he can do here. So he's actually coming out with Arbaletre. I don't know if that's correct, but that's how I'm pronouncing it. Seems like a little bit of a misplay fighting with this small army. Obviously he is still pressuring his opponent off his resources. But I feel like he may have lost them a little bit unnecessarily. Fast forward a little bit here. Picking off a few vills here, pushing off the farm eco. I think he's going to be trapped. I believe there's a wall here. And now he's just everywhere in his base. I don't even think Marinelord's gathering right now. Okay, he's all on gold, all on wood, so he's just not getting any food right now. I'd imagine he just taps out very soon here. One springold coming out to try and deal with this mangonel, but it looks like it's going to go down. And like Marinelord's just not going to be able to reinforce with anything. He'll be able to reinforce with siege, and that's about it, because he doesn't have anything on food right now. Double mangonel shot coming out. Oh, he's looking to further consolidate his position, and then Marinelord actually taps out. And in my opinion, that was just like very clinical play with the English. Very great job at kind of securing map control and constantly pushing Marinelord off his resources. He's actually able to get up to Castle Age a lot quicker than what Marinelord was. Marinelord did do a good job at pushing him back into his base, making him bleed units, but overall, just once he got the techs in, he couldn't stop him, and GG was called from there because Marinelord was not able to gather any food because of the amount of men-at-arms running around his base. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks.